Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, November 25th. Welcome to Nikut World Inclusion. I'm your host, Sean Ferguson, and right now out here in Columbus, Ohio, it is kind of raining outside. I don't know if you can see it outside from the window, but it is raining. Um, but I have incredible story, or I should say, incredible video that I want to show to you guys. But before I do that, please subscribe to my channel, click the notification, click the like button. I would really appreciate it. Help with the algorithm and everything else, and also help me reach out to the whole world, or I should say, reach out to the special needs community or disability community around the world. So just please do that. All right. So the verse of the day is 1 Peter 3:3, and it says, and an NIV translation, it says, "Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes." This verse is part of Peter's message encouraging humility and inner beauty, reminding the believers, especially women, in this passage that true beauty comes from a gentle and quiet spirit rather than outward appearance. Um, so, this, I would say, all right, so I'm going to describe what it actually means. So, it says Peter was writing early Christian believers who were living in a culture that placed heavy importance in outward beauty, social status, and wealth, much like today. In this passage, he encourages Christian women, and by extension of all believers, to focus on inner character rather than outward appearance. You know, I'll say a lot of days, um, you know, out in the society, you know, I see a lot of women who has an outer beauty, but their inner beauty is just so ugly because they are so entitled into something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on with this generation, but I do see a lot of women are entitled. They're either entitled like to money, they're entitled to uh, what was it called? Bunch of stuff, materialistic stuff. That's what I was gonna say. They're entitled to like a lot of materialistic things, and they, see men as a finance maker, or I should say, as money, instead of looking at them as a person. I do see that a lot in this society, and it's a shame that a lot of women who has that entitlement are not married. That's a big shame, and basically a lot of them are single who acts that way. So for verse 3, your beauty should not come from outward adornment. It really means Peter isn't saying it's wrong to look nice or wear jewelry. Instead, he's warning against relying on appearance as the source of worth or identity. In his time, wealthy women often display their status through elaborate hairstyles, expensive clothing, and jewelry. Peter wanted believers to be known for something far deeper than the beauty of their heart. And for verse 4, rather it should be that of your inner self. Peter shifts the focus to what truly lasts: the inner self, your thoughts, spirit, and character. A gentle and quiet spirit doesn't mean weak or silent. It means being peaceful, humble, and kind, even in difficult situations. Unfading beauty contrasts with outward beauty, which fades with time. God values these inner qualities far more than physical looks or possessions. The bigger message is these verses reminds us that real beauty shines from the inside out, from a heart aligned with love, humility, and compassion. It's a call to cultivate inner strength and calmness rather than focusing on surface level and perfection. So, there you go. That's what it actually means. And hopefully, a lot of women will get this, because in this video, she got a rare condition on her face, but in her heart, she's beautiful in her heart. And that's why she has a husband, even though her face doesn't look normal, as what some people sort of speak. So here's the video. Tell me what you guys think.
I just want to be able to spend all my time with my kids without people looking at me or calling me names. I just want to not be shy. I want to be who I am.
Jennifer Hiles was born with an arteriovenous malformation, or AVM, a jumbled mass of arteries and veins in her head and on her face, which would hemorrhage at any moment, possibly fatally. And now she has had tissue expanders placed under the skin of her face.
It's like a big balloon with saline inside, basically like breast implants, just in my face.
As these are enlarged over the course of 2 months by adding more liquid, they will allow extra skin to grow, which will be used as grafts when she has her AVM removed in May.
They're gonna remove all my AVM and all the bad tissues, which is all the pink, and remove my nose and build me a new nose out of my rib. And then since all this damaged tissue will be gone, they'll need something to replace it with. So remove these expanders and they'll have a whole bunch of skin to work with. So I'll have a normal white colored face. So I don't know if I'm gonna look like normal. Like, I don't want to look perfect. I just want to look normal. I guess we'll see.
I can see past like her outside figure because she's so beautiful on the inside. It doesn't really matter about what's on the outside to me. It's kind of scary to think about like what she's gonna look like, because like who knows, like it's just like a mystery. So it's gonna be weird to get used to, but it's not gonna determine like the way I act or feel around her. Like I'm always gonna think she's beautiful.
It's gonna almost get 100 pounds big.
100 pounds? Oh my gosh. My head's
Probably
gonna
this
be
big.
When Jennifer was born, she had a birthmark, which soon grew worse.
I started to bleed all the time when I was like 3 months old, so I would always have to get blood transfusions.
They had tried to cauterize her veins, blood vessels, to see if that would make it stop, and that wouldn't even work for her. There'd be times where I was terrified to go to sleep at night because her nose would bleed in the middle of the night with her not even crying or anything. And I'd wake up and there'd just be blood covered all over the sheets. It got down her stomach, and that would make her really sick. There was a point in time where she got so sick and was so pale that she threw up a ton of blood, and I had to call 911. I almost lost my daughter. It was the scariest day of my life. She only had like 2 pints of blood in her body left. They had to give her a blood transfusion.
Although Jennifer was officially diagnosed with AVM age 12 and has had several surgeries, including the removal of benign tumours, she's still at risk from blood loss.
This basically makes my nose bleed all the time, makes my gums bleed. It has completely eroded the bone line in my teeth. And if my teeth fell out, then I could bleed to death, so that really impacts my life a lot. It makes my throat bleed. It makes me have headaches like all the time because of all the arteries in my head just constantly pounding.
Her condition has meant she's faced a lifetime of unwanted attention, and this can still be a problem when she picks her children up from school.
As soon as all the first graders come out the door, one of them looked over at me and he just yelled, "What's wrong with her face? What's wrong with that lady's face?" And they would say it's gross and sick and be like, "Whose mom is that?" Last time they did that, I waited for my daughter to come outside, and I didn't even say anything to her or give her a hug like I normally do. I just walked straight past her, like into the school, because I felt like I was gonna cry or like pass out. Like, I'm more worried about them making fun of my daughter than they are me. I don't want her to be affected by it. These kids can be mean. There are days where I feel really overwhelmed and really tired of like everything I have to go through just to feel good again. And I know that I do a really good job at like tricking everybody, because I always like try to pretend like I'm really positive or be really positive. And so I guess I kind of feel alone in that sense. Like, I just try to tell people that everything's going good and be positive about stuff, but it's really hard to do that. Like, I kind of feel like a big liar because I tell everyone like everything's going good.
As she prepares for her operation, Jennifer has explained to her children about the procedures she's undergoing.
I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna cut the pink off your face. They're gonna cut your nose off. Yeah, that's blood everywhere.
I kind of told the girls like what's gonna happen and how it's gonna look and how it might be kind of scary for them. And Marlena like instantly started crying, and she said she didn't want to see me like that, but then she don't want to be without me for a long time either.
Once her operations in May are complete, she hopes the bleeding will stop and her appearance will be more normal.
I'm praying and hoping that she can live a happier and healthier life, where she can go out in public, where people won't stare at her and think, where she don't feel like she's any different from anybody else.
If I don't ever have to worry about like bleeding or hemorrhaging or going to the school and having kids not call me names while I pick up Marlena, or if I want to go have lunch with her or all that, that would be like the happiest thing ever. I don't even know what that would feel like, but it would just be really awesome.
All right. Man. I would say that's a great story. I believe that her surgery will be successful, and that they'll take out the arteriovenous malformation off of her face. And I just hope that, her face will look as beautiful as her character is. So, I'll be praying for her on that occasion. So, what does artery venous malformation means? Basically, it's a medical term that describes as an abnormal connection between arteries and veins in the body. Let me break it down simply for you guys. Arteries carry blood away from the heart under high pressures to deliver oxygen to the body. Veins carry blood back to the heart under lower pressure. Normally, blood flows from arteries to smaller blood vessels called capillaries, then into the veins. And an AVM, or artery venous malformation, the arteries and veins are directly connected, skipping the capillaries. And because of this, blood moves too quickly through the AVM, or again, artery venous malformation. The veins can get stretched or weak from the extra pressure. If the AVM is in the brain or spine, it can sometimes cause bleeding, seizures, headaches, or other problems, depending on where it is. In the short term, an AVM is like a tangled web of blood vessels that didn't form correctly before birth, creating a shortcut between arteries and veins. Here's an easy to understand breakdown of how artery venous malformation are usually diagnosed and treated. Because AVMs are blood vessels tangles that can be deep inside the body, especially in the brain or spine, doctors use imaging tests to see them clearly. And also, you can see it visually through the face, and things of that nature. The MRI, or magnetic resonance imaging, creates detailed pictures of the brain or spinal cord to show where the AVM is and if it's pressing on nearby areas. A CT scan uses x-rays to look for bleeding or damage caused by an AVM. Cerebral, I think it's called cerebral angiogram. I'm sorry, doctor's terminology. It's hard to spell it out. This is the most detailed test. A doctor injects a dye into the bloodstream, and it takes special x-ray pictures of the blood flow, allowing them to see the exact shape and location of the AVM. Now, here are the treatment that could help. The treatment depends on where the AVM is, how big it is, and whether it has caused bleeding or symptoms. Here are the main approaches. Monitoring. If the AVM is small and not causing problems, doctors may check it regularly with scans instead of treating it right away. Surgery. In some cases, especially if the AVM is near the surface and easy to reach, a surgeon can remove it completely. And as you can see from the video that you saw, they are preparing to move the MVA, or the AVM, from her face, because it really does look like it's a big, huge tumor or a mass, but it's not. It's just AVM is, just piling up into her head and her face, and is causing like a big, huge tumor. Um, Endovascular embolization, a small tube like catheter is inserted through a blood vessel, usually from the leg, and guided to the AVM. Then a special glue-like material or tiny coils are often, or sorry, are used to block off the abnormal vessels and reduce blood. Stereoatic radiosurgery is another one. This is a focused radiation treatment that shrinks or closes off the AVM over time without traditional surgery. It's often used for smaller AVMs that are deep in the brain. So the goal of the treatment for the surgery that she's going to is to prevent bleeding and reduce symptoms like headaches, seizures, or weakness while protecting healthy brain or spinal tissue. So, I'm going to tell you what happens if an AVM bleeds, as she was describing. When the arteriovenous malformation ruptures, it means that one of the fragile blood vessels in the tangled areas has leaked or broken, and it caused her to nosebleed a lot. This can cause bleeding inside the brain, which is a serious medical emergency. When an AVM bleeds, part of the brain doesn't get enough oxygen, and the pressure from the blood can damage nearby brain tissue. The possible symptoms of a bleeding AVM, the signs depend on where the AVM is located, but common symptoms include a sudden severe headaches, nausea and vomiting, sudden weakness or numbness, vision problems, difficulty speaking or understanding words, loss of balance or coordination, seizures, in severe cases, loss of consciousness. If any of these happen suddenly, it's an emergency and the person needs to go to the hospital immediately if this case ever happens. Symptoms before an AVM is found is frequent headaches, seizures, weakness or numbness, hearing a pulsing noise, vision problems or confusion, difficulty focusing or memory issue, and so on and so forth. Now, people is asking why treatment matters. Even though AVMs are rare, they can be dangerous if left untreated because of the risk of bleeding. Basically, as you heard from this video, she can bleed out to death. So, and really, whenever she's bleeding, you gotta take her to the hospital, and it's just, it sucks. That's why doctors carefully study each person's case, looking at the AVM size, shape, and location to choose the safest plan. I really think that she's gonna, like I said, she's gonna have a successful surgery. Hopefully, she will do you know, really well, and you know, and I can see that not only she will have like a normal face, but I do believe that she will have a beautiful face. And um, God is using her story to tell other people, like, hey, even though I have this rare condition, it doesn't, stop me from doing what I want to do. It's not going to stop me from living life. I mean, as you can see from that video, it looks like she's having a great life. She has a husband, she has kids, she has a house. You know, that is wonderful to see. And like, I know other kids don't understand her. You know, other other kids don't understand that, hey, people do have a disability. It doesn't mean that you're better than they are. It doesn't mean that you look better than they are. It just means that there's some type of like mutation in the room or something that caused this to happen. And it's not our fault. It's not our fault at all. It's just a rare condition. Now, I know some people is going to ask, is this a mistake? Did God made a mistake? No. God did not make a mistake. He actually made that happen. Actually, actually, it actually happened like that because of our sin. Because of our sin, you know, it it changed everything. It screwed everything up. God created the world and he made everything perfect until Adam and Eve sinned against him. And then nothing ain't perfect anymore. It's not perfect. And the only thing that God gave us was free will. And we have the free will to choose to sin or not sin. And of course, Adam and Eve chose to sin. And that's why we have this, unperfection or unperfect society or messed up world. And of course, the world is becoming more evil, more evil. But anyways, God did not make a mistake. Did not make a mistake at all. But he's using this for his glory. For God's glory. And I'm glad that she's sharing her story of the rare condition that she has in her face. And I hope that the surgery will become successful. All right, I'm going to pray here and then, go ahead and get off of here. So, anyways, dear Heavenly Father, I just pray to you for today. God, I would say just bless her heart. She has a good character. She has a big heart. I know she's been through a lot. She's been through a lot of surgery. She's been through a lot of, I guess, teasing, baby bullying. But I know that you gave her a great husband and a great house and beautiful kids. And I just pray that, you just protect them, put their arms around them. I just pray that that you be the magical surgeon, or I should say miracle surgeon, and you know, help make her face look beautiful, not only normal but also beautiful. Just touch the doctor, help the doctor become very successful in the surgery, and hopefully everything will be great. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you on the next one. Take care, give care, and I'll see you later.